So you're looking for a dog trainer here in Williston, Vermont? Well, you've come to the right place. This guide is all about helping you find the perfect professional for you and your dog.
Okay, let's start by thinking about your dog's world. I mean, it's not just your backyard, right? It's all of Williston. We're talking about walks through Taft Corners, adventures at the Cassavant Natural Area, and just getting around your own neighborhood. The whole point of good training is to make sure your dog can handle all of that real-life stuff confidently.
All right, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about training goals, specifically for life here in Williston. Then, we'll get into methods and credentials, programs and costs, and some of the local rules and resources. And we'll wrap it all up with the exact questions you should be asking any trainer you're considering.
Okay, let's jump right into our first section, training for Williston life. This is all about setting some realistic goals that actually make sense for our community.
So, what skills does a Williston dog really need? Well, it's about the everyday stuff, Like, can they walk calmly through Taft Corners without pulling your arm off? Can they chill out near an outdoor cafe? How about handling a vet visit without all the stress? Or just having a nice, polite leash walk at a place like Camp Isla Vista? Getting these things down just makes life so much better for everyone.
All right, we've got our goals. So now for section 2. Let's talk about how to actually evaluate a professional trainer by looking at their methods and their credentials.
You're going to hear this term a lot, positive reinforcement. And what it really means is using rewards, think treats, praise, a favorite toy, to build trust and encourage the behaviors you want. The big idea here is that it creates real, lasting change without ever needing to use fear or pain.
And here's a simple way to think about it. You're looking for training that's reward-based, that builds trust, and that keeps stress low. What you absolutely want to avoid are any trainers who use fear, intimidation, or tools that cause pain. Seriously, all modern, effective training focuses on that positive side.
Okay, so how can you tell if a trainer walks the walk? Well, their credentials are a huge clue. You'll see these strings of letters like KPA, CTP, or CPDTK. They might look like alphabet soup, but they mean that trainer has actually passed exams and is serious about keeping their skills up to date. And if you're dealing with tougher issues like serious anxiety or aggression, there are even more advanced certifications to look for, like CBC-CKA or CTC.
All right, let's get into the practical side of things in Section 3, Programs and Local Costs. This is where we figure out what's going to work for your dog and for your wallet.
You've got a few different formats to choose from. Group classes are awesome for socialization. Private lessons give you that one-on-one customized help. Day training is where a pro works with your dog while you're busy. And then there are board and train programs, which are much more intensive and immersive.
So let's talk money. What can you expect to pay around Williston? For group classes, you're looking at a range of roughly $180 to $325. Private lessons are usually priced per session, maybe $125 to $210. And as you can probably guess, the more intensive options like board and train cost quite a bit more. This should give you a pretty good ballpark for setting a budget.
Okay, on to section 4. This is the stuff every Williston dog owner really needs to know, the local rules and resources. So probably the #1 question people have is, what's the deal with the leash law here in Williston?
Good news, it's super simple. The number to remember is 6. Just keep a standard 6-foot leash handy. Leashes are required in all public spaces, period. Besides the leash law, there are a couple other things to keep on your radar. If your dog is over 6 months old, they have to be licensed with the Williston Town Clerk. Vermont state law also requires a current rabies vaccination. Oh, and here's a good one to know. Excessive barking can actually be a nuisance violation, which is another great reason to work on that with a trainer.
So where can you go to practice all these new skills? The Cassavant Natural Area is fantastic for working on focus with all the distractions of a trail. For something a bit quieter, Camp Isla Vista's paths are perfect for practicing loose leash walking. And when you want some safe, fenced-in, off-leash time, the Colchester Dog Park is a great spot not too far away.
And here we are, our final section, number 5. This might be the most important part, the questions you need to ask a potential trainer. Think of this as your checklist to help you make a really confident choice.
When you get a trainer on the phone or meet them, you want to be prepared. Ask them flat out, what training methods do you use? What are your credentials? How are you going to tailor this for my dog? And how do we even know if we're making progress? And definitely get the full story on costs and their policies. Oh, and ask if they do a free evaluation. Getting these answers up front means no surprises later.
Because really, when it comes down to it, having a well-trained dog just makes everything better.
every walk in the park, every trip downtown, even just a quiet evening at home. It's an amazing journey to take with your dog, so enjoy it.